want Pokemon that look like this? If so, today we're going to be doing an in-depth guide on how to breed in Cobblemon. Now, remember, if you liked the video, please make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications if you're interested in seeing more, and follow along. I'll post other guides and videos of me playing the game, and any content you could think of for this mod pack. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So to start breeding, you're going to need to craft yourself a pasture block. You can use any kind of wood you'd like. You need to make a PC, a hopper, and use 2 wheat. If you have the mod pack downloaded off of CurseForge or Modrinth, you get this nice mod where you can search up your crafting recipes for the new, for Cobblemon, and you don't have to actually go look them up online yourself, which is super helpful. So everything here is pretty simple to make, except for the PC. The PC is still simple to make, but it's a Cobblemon exclusive item. So this is the crafting recipe: 2 smooth stone, 2 copper, 4 iron, 1 glass. Once you have your pasture block built, you can access the PC, and you'll see all your Pokemon, and you'll be able to put 2 Pokemon of opposing genders inside the PC. Alright, so these are your breeding items. You've got your HP IV item, your Speed IV item, Destiny Knot, Everstone, your Special Attack IV item, your Attack IV item, your Defense IV item, and your Special Defense IV item. This Lucky Egg is in here. It has nothing to do with breeding. That's my fault. But anyways, you will have a Pokemon hold any of these items depending on what you want it to pass down to the child Pokemon. To go over how to craft these items, they each take basically the same things. The only things that differ are the color of the mints that you need. Now, you can use any color of concrete, diamonds, and these mints, which affect the EVs of the Pokemon. Now, if you're wondering where to get the mints, you can head on over to the mint trader, who I will show you in just a second. Now that we're at the mint trader, you can go ahead and take a look in his inventory. He's got 5 colors of mints. So he is missing 1 color, which is green. You would have to find another mint trader that has the green mint, because unfortunately there is no crafting recipes for these mints. But you can make the nature changing mints with these mints as well. So, like I said, every single breeding item takes any color concrete, diamonds, and its specific color mint. So, this one would take a red mint. You can craft as many of these as you want. If you're only going to breed 1 pair of Pokemon at a time, you only need 1 of each, because they don't disappear after the breeding is done, and you can reuse them as many times as you need. Now, I'm quickly going to go over what all of the breeding items do. There's not many, so this will be very quick. If we go back over to my breeding chest here, so this one keeps your HP IV, this one keeps your speed, the Destiny Knot. This will transfer over 5 random IVs from both of the parents together to the child. So it's not guaranteed to bring over your highest IVs, it's not going to bring over your lowest IVs guaranteed, but it will pull 5 from either parent. So it can pull 2 from one parent, it can pull 3 from the other, it could pull 4 from one parent, 1 from the other, or it could even pull all 5 from one parent, if you're lucky. So these are super useful for when you've bred up two Pokemon, and one of them has the nature you want, and the other has the stats you want. So you can pair this with the Everstone, which will transfer over whichever Pokemon that is holding its nature to the child Pokemon. So, say you have a 5x31 Pokemon that you would like to breed and change the nature of, and give it a Destiny Knot, and the other parent with the nature that you would like on the child, the Everstone, and let them breed. It's not guaranteed that it will be perfect, but you do have a chance of transferring all the good stats from the one parent and just the nature from the other parent. It's best if you use these together with the Destiny Knot being on the parent with the most stats that you need, and the Everstone being on a parent with similar or the same stats and the nature that you want. Now, it doesn't need to have all of the IVs the same as the parent with the Destiny Knot, but the more IVs that are the same, the easier and more consistent the breed is going to come out with what you need. When breeding, you only want one parent to hold a power item. If both parents hold a power item in this game, one of the stats will not go through or be used. So only one power item can be used at a time to guarantee an IV to be higher than 31, or to be as high as 31. If you use two power items together, it will not work. So, if you're wondering how you start with two 31 IV Pokemon and turn them into a 2 IV Pokemon, you would have one holding the Destiny Knot and one holding the power item of the IV you want to pass down. Now, it might take 1 or 2 eggs, maybe 3, if you're unlucky, for it to pass down both IVs being the same. But it is worth it because the higher and higher amount of stats that you have at 31, the easier the breeding will become to get a perfect IV Pokemon. So, we're going to let these two breed for a while. The Nidoran female, we're hoping to pass down a 31 special attack, and the Nidoran male is guaranteed to pass down the 31 special defense. Now, the Destiny Knot should allow us to have the Nidoran female pass down the 31 special attack. Gives it a very high chance. It's not guaranteed, but we will see. Now, another way that you can make your Pokemon perfect IV'd if you don't feel like breeding is you can make Mighty Candies. Now, they take honeycombs, Kelpsy berries, and XP Candies XLs or XP Candy Larges, depending on what you want to make. So I've crafted 3 of the HP candies. Now, here we have a Pokemon that doesn't have a 31 HP. What we'll do is we'll throw out our Nidoking, and we will just feed it the candies. Now, I personally haven't made any on the run that I'm doing at the moment, so we have a souped up achievement that we have just gotten. Now, when we go back to look at the IV, we have gone up to 28. So, it's showing us our original IV, but we are now at 28. Sitting at a 90% IV rating. It's a great way to get them up if you're not willing to wait for breeding times. One thing I forgot to mention, you will have to craft the candies here at the campfire pot. You can craft a campfire pot, or you can buy one from a trader. And this is the recipe that you put in, and it will smelt them like it would be in a furnace, and it will create your candies for you. very useful item to have because you can also make the foods for raising your Pokemon's riding speed, their stamina, their jump height, as well as increasing their friendship. You can make vitamins, you can make potions, and yeah, you can make all of these items. You can make the mochis, which will increase your EVs. You can make full heals. You can make tons of useful items, even evolution items. Cake to raise their friendship. Or even X items. I don't personally use them, but you can make them. And so this is an easier way than breeding if you have the items for it, which you can find honey and XP candies and Kelpsie berries very easily if you just travel to different towns and loot. So this is another option that you have. Alright guys, so we've got a egg with 31 special attack, 31 special defense. So the breeding was successful. Now, you do have to wait 10 minutes for this Pokemon, but I remember when I was breeding my Bagon, I needed to wait 15. So the timers also differ based off the Pokemon that you're breeding. So once the Pokemon is hatched, I will show you how to keep going. So it tells you all the information first off before I cut to the next part. So it tells you what its nature is going to be. So bashful, that's no good for the Nidoran. It's going to be a male, all of its IVs, and what Pokeball it's going to be in, which is going to be in a quick ball because I think the parents are both in quick balls. So we now have our Nidoran male and our Nidoran female breeding in the pasture block. Now, the Everstone will guarantee that the nature will always come through, so we're only going to get eggs with timid nature. So eventually we will get an egg with 31 special attack, 31 special defense, and a timid nature. It's just a matter of waiting. Breeding takes long in this game. It is unfortunate, but it is worth it if you don't have the items you need to craft the IV training items. Alright guys, so we finally got special attack, special defense, timid Nidoran egg. It is a Nidoran female. So when this hatches, it will be a Pokemon with these IVs and that nature for you. And you can repeat this process over and over to fully get it to like the 631 IV. And you know, the more times you do it, the better results you'll get. Although in out of every single Pokemon kind of remake that I've experienced, like between Cobblemon, I've even played games like Pokémon, ROMs and emulated games. This is the longest breeding method. This takes the longest out of anything. Other than the base games itself. The base games, the breeding is not that fast, but there's also improvement upon that, but no, this is extremely, it takes an extremely long time. It took about an hour for this egg to pop out. Now, if you decide that's worth it or not to, by all means breed, and if you think it's not worth it, make the candies. They work just as well, although they are expensive. These XP candies, these are two extremely easy items to get, right? But then it takes 6 of these to make one of these, and then it takes 3 of those to make one of these, right? And so on and so on until you're here, and that's just one item you need in order to make this. So these are somewhat expensive, but I feel like they are a more consistent method to use if you just put the time into farming these items, right? Topsy berries are not hard to get. You can plant them, farm. Honeycombs. You can beat comb bees to get these. Vespa Queen. Beedrill, I believe, drops these as well. Or you can find villages with the beekeeper homes and get like hundreds of these just from each beekeeper home. So you definitely have options when it comes to IV training your Pokemon. So with that being said, that will be the end of the guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it taught you something that you can use to, you know, do a little bit better in your playthrough. The gyms and the trainers do get very difficult, and they do hold items that are meta for like competitive battling, and I assume that NPC Pokemon are EV trained properly and also have good IV stats, because they're sometimes one-shotting my perfect IV Pokemon who are EV trained. So the NPC Pokemon are strong, breeding is essential, or at least having competitive ready Pokemon on your team is essential. So yeah, thanks once again for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you'd like to watch more videos. I will be trying to make a couple more guides like this for other topics, as well as I have a Let's Play series that I think is pretty fun to watch, and if you guys are interested in that, I'll leave a link for it in the description as well. With that being said, peace out, guys.